Everybody, and it is good to virtually see you all again. It's been a little bit. I got a question in one of the comments for one of my videos, and so I wanted to respond, but I wanted to be thoughtful about my response. So the question was, why is it that I eat vegan keto as opposed to, let's say, the McDougall way of eating? And for those of you who don't know about McDougall or who he is or what he does, I'll give you the 10-second version, and that is he believes that humans are meant to be starch-based eaters and they are starchivores, and that's his thing. You know, Google it. There's all kinds of information about him and his, thoughts about that. So there are lots of different reasons why I am choosing to eat vegan keto at this time. And honestly, I haven't been the best. Like, I've been off of it for a little bit, but I know I need to go back because I get the best results when I do vegan keto. So, I do apologize for any background noise, by the way. For those of you who know me and who've been following me, you know my animals always want to cause a ruckus whenever I film. So that's what that is. All right. So I've done a lot of research and I synthesized it in pages and pages and pages and pages and pages and pages and pages of notes. It's a lot of research. Here's what I don't do. I don't do bro science. There's so much BS bro science on the internet about food and health. And the reason why I'm so passionate against bro science is because it can be very dangerous. It's like if you have just some freaking dude or not dude, on the internet just saying, hey, this is the way it is because they're a fitness coach, that doesn't mean anything to me. Have they read the science? Have they actually read the science? Have they gone to many different MD presentations where they are looking at the science? Has that happened? Or are they just repeating what they read on a bodybuilding website? And is the bodybuilding website repeating what they read on another bodybuilding website? It's like the caterpillar pillar. If you have not read that children's book, then read it. It takes 2 seconds and you'll get it. That's exactly what we have today. And it's very dangerous. So I'm not going to do that to you. Okay. I'm not going to do that to you. But I synthesized a whole bunch of research between high carb, low fat and high fat, low carb, because these are two huge movements. And the question is which one? All right. Now I have my answer after doing all kinds of research. So first, I'm going to preface who it is that I'm really basing my stuff on. I tend to really have a great deal of respect for a handful of doctors. One is Dr. Joel Fuhrman. Now you can't tell me, oh, you're following someone who has a vegan agenda with Dr. Joel Fuhrman. No, he actually does not advocate people being vegan. I think he tends to eat mostly vegan. And he tells people, well, if you're going to have some meat, have a little tiny bit of meat or whatever, but a tiny bit. But he is well researched, thoroughly researched, respected by his peers, respected by doctors who are not vegans at all. So he has a ton of books. He has books on fasting that are very good. People are freaked out about fasting. You're not going to die if you don't eat 5 meals a day. Okay? It's not going to happen. You're going to lose a lot of body fat, actually, if you stop doing that. So I tend to really respect Dr. Fuhrman. The next person who I really respect a lot, it's Dr. Michael Greger. Thoroughly researched guy. He has a website, if you have not heard of it. It is called nutritionfacts.org. Nutritionfacts.org, not .com. The .com is some BS site that's totally useless. .org. It's a 501c3. It's not company or corporate sponsored at all. It's all individual donations. Go there. You can look up any ailment, and if it has to do with food, he'll have an article on it, or he'll have a video on it. And if you type in a certain food, you want to know if a certain food is good or bad or, neither, if there's some research out there about it, he's probably done a video about it. And with his videos, he cites to the science. You've got to point to the science, not the bro science, the real science. And because he's so responsible about that, I tend to give him a lot of weight. All right, so those are like my top 2 doctors. But I have a whole list of doctors that I've looked at, like, from many different sides of the food spectrum, whether they're vegan or not vegan or whatever, even if they're like, paleo, or if they just like, I don't know, drink lamb's blood or whatever. I seriously have listened to probably hundreds and hundreds of hours of medical doctors' presentations where they present their science, right? Okay, and also understanding, this is going to be a long video, I'm sorry, that's just the way this goes. It's a very important question, and I want to answer it responsibly. But when you have peer-reviewed journal articles, you have to look at certain things, like, is it for example, an industry-sponsored article? Now, that doesn't necessarily by itself debunk the science. I'm not trying to say that, but you have to consider that, right? You must consider it. And another thing is, if you have a cross-sectional observational study, like they did about saturated fat and I believe it was saturated fat and heart disease, and they showed that cross-sectional observational studies, it was a meta-analysis, and meta-analyses are very strong, but it was a meta-analysis of cross-sectional observational studies about saturated fat versus and its implication on heart disease. Well, that's the wrong type of methodology. So you actually have to understand the methodology. And these things are such BS. Like, so Time Magazine's the whole, butter's back, and everyone's like, this is crazy, okay? So there are all kinds of benefits that you can get from eating whole food plant-based. All right, there is so much research on that. I mean, there's a ton. Go to PubMed. This is a free resource for you to find your articles. You can go to nutritionfacts.org too. That's fine. And you can see all the articles right there. But the question is, okay, so let's say everybody's buying into it. They're like, okay, whole food plant-based. That's good for you. It's the only diet that has ever reversed heart disease. The only diet ever to reverse heart disease. Okay? So what Dr. Greger says is, well, shouldn't that be the default until we find a different diet? And yes, Dr. Greger, you are very wise. That should be the default diet. Okay, so then if I get people saying, okay, well, look, I'm with you. Whole food plant-based, that's great. I still want a little bit of meat, or I still want a little bit of dairy. I'm not going to change that. So now, do I do high carb, low fat, or high fat, low carb? It's a great question. And the fact is that if you eat a ketogenic diet, and that when we're talking high fat, that's really what we're talking about, right? A ketogenic diet. There is a study, and I will find this video that Dr. Greger laid out so beautifully. I'll put it right here. And this is a Harvard study. I think most of us can trust Harvard, right? They're not just, like fake news, fake researchers. And this study included 100,000 participants. And on one axis, it's like, okay, this is the average longevity line. Now, let's look at people who eat, and at that time it was Atkins, but Atkins is basically keto. So let's look at people who eat Atkins, and do they live longer or do they not when compared to the general population? So the Atkins people who are eating Atkins, they have a shorter lifespan. They did not have as much longevity. They just didn't. So they died quicker. I think that's how the graph went. Now, because the study included 100,000 participants, later what they did was they extrapolated the veggie-based keto people. Essentially, it was like they call it Eco Atkins or whatever it is these people are calling it. And they said, okay, well, for you, do you live longer than the regular Atkins people? not only did they live longer than the regular Atkins people, they lived longer than the general population. They live longer. They live longer. So that's huge. Longevity is huge. And whole food plant-based matters because you can live you're not dying longer. You're living longer. And I'm interested in that. But you can live longer if you eat a high-carb whole food plant-based diet. You can. You can go either way. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. But for performance, for athletes. Now, I'm not calling myself an athlete. One of these days, maybe I'll get there. But for those of you who've been following me, you know I'm going to do a marathon soon in December. And if you are a carb burner, you have to be eating very high, simple carb foods about every half hour that you're doing that in order to not, basically to simplify it, run out of the sugar that you need, that your body's going to be burning while you're doing that thing. Sorry about my dog. I don't want to do that. I don't want to eat every half hour. It's a pain in the freaking butt. I want to be a fat burning machine by the time that marathon comes. So even though I've been kind of off my diet because my cousin had a wedding, like all this stuff, and I have another cousin who has a wedding, and here's the thing, when you're a vegan and you have somebody in your family who's getting married and they're putting out a special vegan dish just for you, I can't say, oh, excuse me, but can you actually make it a high-fat, low-carb vegan diet? I mean, I'm going to get punched in the face by my cousins, you know, and I would deserve it. So what am I going to get? I'll tell you what I'm going to get. I'm going to get what I get every single time. It's going to be pasta. It's going to be a pasta primavera, some like shit like that. And, you know, I'm not going to not eat it. They paid like $80 damn for that freaking plate of horrible, gross pasta. I'm going to be respectful. I'm going to do it. And some of you might say, you know, you're making excuses. And you know what? I am. It is an excuse. I think it is a valid excuse. And you might not agree, but guess what? You don't have to. It doesn't matter to me. You can make that choice for yourself. I'm making the choice that I feel is appropriate for my own family. But once this like round of weddings is done, I'm gonna get back to vegan keto because it was awesome. My cravings were gone. It was amazing. You become a fat burning machine. And what some people would say, and I've heard Dr. Greger say it, is, well, yeah, but then you're burning off the exogenous fat, the fat that you're eating, that you're taking in, so you're not actually getting to the fat on your body. And that can be true depending upon your calorie intake and your physical activity. And people are going to say, oh no, that's not true. That's not true. If you eat keto, you can eat whatever you want. Or people will say, no. If you eat whole food plant-based, eat high carb, you can eat whatever you want. False. Fake news. Not true. The science does not support that. Total energy expenditure, TEE, that's what you'll find in the scientific literature, that matters. It matters. So don't blow it. Get active, or if you're not going to get active, get real with yourself and cut your freaking calories. And you know what? Do I think you should eat a little bit all day long? No. You know why? Because every time you eat, it spikes your insulin. And that is just like, you know, if you just want to keep store all of your fat or whatever, you're like, then eat all the time. If you want to be a fat burning machine, then what you will do is you will eat one meal a day at most. If I know that some of you are like, oh my God, one meal a day, what are you talking about? This is if you have fat to lose, okay? If you're fit and whatever, then eat whatever you want. But if you are trying to lose fat, ask yourself, are you serious? Are you really serious? Because if you're really serious, you will do whatever it takes that is, you know, ethical and legal and all of that, right? You don't want to harm yourself. You can do it in a nutritious way, and eating one meal a day, once you get used to that, eating 3 meals a day is weird. You're like, why am I eating all the time? You know, that's contrived BS, this idea that we have to eat all the time. It's bro science. It's absolute BS. Don't follow it. do the research, and it's total energy expenditure that you have to worry about. And you don't want to be storing. Hormones matter when it comes to weight and body fat storage or body fat burning. So understand hormones and do real research. I've done a ton of it. I've synthesized it so I can make this video for you. I'll try to post whatever videos I can to support what it is I'm saying. I'll try to post articles underneath. But you know, at some point, you have to be accountable for the research that you do for your life and your body and your health. So I hope that this long-ass video has been at least somewhat helpful. I'm doing it and I'm posting this because I really care. I'm posting this in my home with my annoying yet very cute pets behind me because I really care and I want you to do well and I want you to be healthy. I don't want you to do something dangerous. I don't want you to do anything dangerous. It's going to harm your health while you're on your quest. Even fasting. Don't just go, these freaking YouTubers, they're like, oh, I fasted for like 30 days. Oh, like, stop fasting for that. What are you fasting for 30 days? Are you insane? If you're fasting for 30 days, you need to be under medical supervision and not some quacky BS place in freaking Costa Rica. Oh my God, like where they've killed people and stuff. No, like I'll tell you where to go. If you want to do a prolonged fast, if you have a ton of body fat to shed and you want the other benefits from fasting, if you want to stave off cancer, if you want to reverse diabetes, I mean, people who have like literally not been able to walk and they can start walking again because of reversing diseases. If you want to go on a prolonged fast, go to True North Health Center in Santa Rosa. They do things really responsibly and they have proven results and they're not going to freaking kill you. So, all right, long video. Hope that helped. Hope that's going to answer your questions. If you have more questions, of course, leave it in the comments. That's the reason why I'm doing this video. Somebody left a question and I've synthesized a bunch of crap and here it is, and it's because I care. So leave a comment or a question below. No hate. I'm not going to tolerate that crap on my channel. So no hate. Give this video a thumbs up, pretty please. Thumbs down means you don't like research. So, all right, and then subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I will continue to update you on all this good stuff and also about my own progress, especially once I get back into it and behaving better. All right, everybody, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.